Good evening, folks. How are y'all doing? Been a while since I made a video. I wanted to try to make one tonight. I think I'm doing a little better as far as my cough is concerned. And hopefully my ribs will let me make this before I run out of air. But I thought I'd tell you the story about the convenience stores. Way back years ago, I had a job as manager of several convenience stores, and I was based out of Wichita Falls, Texas. And I'd have a fella, I'd have these Mexicans come in every Saturday night, and they'd get a bottle of cheap wine. They'd come up there and they'd put their money down and I would tell them, I'd say, that's not enough money. They're trying to tell me that they don't speak English. And I kept telling them, I said, that's not enough money. And so that went on week after week after week after week. And finally, they come over there one evening and they got them one, threw a $20 bill down, and I said, okay. I said, you want that? I said, $20. That old boy spoke up and said, that don't cost no $20. I said, well, looky there. A miracle just happened. You learned to speak English instantaneously. That's a miracle. And so he just grabbed his $20 and left. And they never did come back again. But I had a girl working on third shift in another store across town, and about 3 o'clock in the morning, I got a phone call asking me to come out to the store. So I got up, got dressed, and went out there, and there was a fella that was laying out in the parking lot close to the store, but he was just laying there. And the police were there and everything. And I said, what's going on? They said, well, this guy tried to rob her, said she shot him. I said, well, good for her. They said, well, she's not supposed to have a gun where liquor's sold. And I said, well, what do you mean she's not supposed to have a gun? I said, if there's anywhere that a person should have a gun, it's where liquor's sold. And he said, no, sir. He said, the only way that we won't prosecute her is if you fire her. And so I went over to her and asked her what happened. And she said, well, what happened was the guy came in and he pointed the gun at me and told me to give him all the money. So I did exactly what you told me to do. I took all the money out of the register and I gave him that. And then I gave him that bag of rolled up pennies. And said, after I gave that to him, I stepped back, and then he reached in his pocket and got out this can of mace and shot it right in my eyes. And she said, and of course, that made me fall. And she said, I got up, and I noticed he went all the way to the back of the store, just taking his sweet time. She said, I was trying to get my eyes clear so I could see clear enough. And said, he got him a bottle of beer and he was coming back and said, I got my gun, and said, when he went out the door, I shot. And I said, well, they said that the only way that they'll not prosecute you for having a gun here is if I fire you. She said, so I guess I'm fired. I said, well, yeah, you're fired. I said, so why don't you come by the office tomorrow to get your check? And she said, okay. Well, after everything was over with and everything, she left. I took the store for the rest of the night. And then the next day, she come out to the office, and so when I told them to let her come back to my office, they told her, said, you can go back and see him now. She come in there, and I slid a piece of paper across the desk. And she said, what's that? I said, it's an application. An application? I said, yeah. Sign the bottom of that application. What for? I said, well, first of all, here's your check that I'm supposed to give you, showing that you got your check for being fired. So she took the check. I said, now then, sign that thing. She said, okay. What for? I said, because I'm hiring you right back. And she said, can you do that? I said, well, I'm doing it. So I hired her right back, and I put her in another store. And I guess probably 3 weeks went by, and patrolman walked in one night, and he said, that girl that shot that guy over there across town? I said, yeah. I saw her over in another store working. I said, yeah, I hired her back. He said, well, you're supposed to fire her. I said, I did fire her. I gave her a check. And he said, but what's she doing working over in that store? I said, I told you, I hired her back. And he said, well, you can't do that. I said, I sure can. I said, there's nothing says I can't hire her back. Said, I just had to fire her. I said, so I fired her so y'all wouldn't prosecute her for a gun. She's over there working now, and she don't have a gun. And he said, you sneaky. I said, I try to be. I work at it. Can't always abide by everything, but I said, I try to do my best. This is, yeah, that's what I thought it was. This is a Rossi Vittoria. I think that's the way you say it. I'm not sure exactly how you pronounce it. And I got some Peter Stokeby luxury twist flake in it. And, I don't do too good at remembered to say that, but I remembered it tonight. Of course, it's kind of after the story, but well, let me tell you another story about the convenience store. I was running every Saturday night. We had a run on the store from about 11 o'clock to 12 o'clock. Everybody was coming in to buy all the beer they could and buy all the wine they could. That's the only thing we sold was beer and wine. Everybody come in there, and I mean, just a big old line, just constantly from 11 o'clock to 12 o'clock. and they're just running people through, because from 12 midnight until 7 a.m. Monday morning, back then you couldn't buy any kind of liquor. So we sold a bunch on that night, on Saturday night there between 11 and 12. And I was running them all through there, and it was about 10 minutes to 12. I seen two guys outside looking in a sack with a boy that was about 6'2", and I didn't think nothing about it. And so after a few minutes, they came in. And of course, it was just turning 12, and that was the end of the run, because couldn't sell no more after 12 o'clock. And they came in and they said, "You're going to have to shut this store down." I said, "Why am I going to have to shut this store down?" They said, "Well, because you sold liquor to an underage boy. He's 17. I said, "Well, if I did, I didn't know it." I said, "Everybody come through here." I said, they looked old enough to me. And I said, "That boy is 6'2". I said, "I wouldn't have thought nothing about it." And he said, "Well, you did." I said, "Well, okay." So anyway, I shut it down, and I called my supervisor, and I told him, I said, "Hey, they shut me down." And so anyway, I told him, I said, they're taking me to jail. And I said, I need somebody to come get me out. He said, "I'll be down there in just a little bit." Well, he come down to jail and got me out of jail. Well, he said, "I've got a lawyer who'll take care of this." I said, "Okay." So that lawyer told me, when I talked to him about it, he said, "Well," he said, "now, you didn't do anything wrong." I said, "I didn't?" He said, "Nope, didn't do a thing wrong." I said, "Well," he said, "you'll find out about it when we go to court." So they had to go to court and come. I'm in court, and my lawyer stood up and he said, "Your Honor," he said, "it's not against the law for him to sell beer or wine to an underage boy or person." Said it's against the law for the underage person to purchase it. So the manager of that store did not break any law, but the boy who bought it broke the law. Well, can I tell you that was about one of the fastest laws you ever seen changed in the state of Texas? I mean, within 6 months, that thing went through what every law had to go through, so that they could change that law to where it was against the law to sell it, not against the law to buy it. But they couldn't do nothing to me, because that was a done deal. And by the time that came, I was no longer doing that kind of work. And so that was the end of that. And I got a couple of more stories about the convenience store that I'll tell you another time. I'm starting to get a little winded here, because my ribs are bothering me. And but I just wanted to come on and give you another story, because I enjoy doing it, and I know that you probably wanted to hear another one. So we'll we'll sign off here now. And I pray that everybody uh, is taking care of themselves with this COVID thing and staying safe. And I pray that God will supply your every need, take care of every circumstance in your life. And until we meet again, I will bid you adieu. So, I guess. Bye bye.